Yeah, it has happened to me. Anis?
In this era of self-publishing, could you talk a little bit about the process of finding an agent and a publisher, and how hard was that? And a lot of rejections, or what was it like?
Well, I'm not really the person you want to talk to about that because I never really had to look for an agent. It just happened. A friend of mine, okay, now with this thing, I thought I was done, and I had like 600 pages of, I don't know what I was calling it then. And a friend of mine said, oh, okay, I know Marie Brown, I'll take your work to her. I was like, okay. And now that I think about it, I was like, this woman actually sat down and read that. Because it was like, I was all over. It's almost like you want to put down everything you know. Right. And then she wrote back a very lovely letter. She said, you have a beautiful story. Now go learn how to tell it. and go learn how to tell it. It's a beautiful story, but you need to learn how to tell it. And I'm like, I thought I told the story. What is she talking about? And I wrote back, and I said, I'm not sure what you mean. She said, take some writers' workshops. I said, workshops? What do they do there? Frankly, I had no clue that those things existed. Yeah, and I started buying books about the craft, learned a lot, and this is it.
So how long did it take you?
Start to finish. It's a long story. Yeah, I would say I started in '93 when I was living in France. So exactly 20 years. But you must understand that I only worked on it in the summer. And like if I have a long weekend, and because I was a single parent and had to take my son to everything, Little League, music, chess, and there was no time for that. And in fact, when people would ask me, what time do you go to bed? I say, I don't go to bed, I pass out. And then a friend of mine in Paris, she has 3 sons, and said, my sons go to camp, and my sister is the camp director. And why don't we just send Sebastian to camp? And that's when, and then I would rent an apartment in Paris and pretend to live the life of a writer. And live my fantasy. Yes, yeah.
So did you learn through workshops how to edit your own book, or did you find it happening?
You have to learn to write, to edit your own book, because you want those to be your own words. I mean, eventually it's helpful to have somebody to look at it. Okay, and yeah, but as the farther along you go into writing, the more you're gonna enjoy editing. Because yes, exactly, that's the fun part, the polishing. The creative process, is tedious and frustrating, but I just love putting those chapters together. No, this doesn't belong here, it belongs there, and ooh, this sentence doesn't sound good, and you start listening to sounds and rhythms, and that's the fun part for me.